back to the channel. I'm still doing background videos of catching everybody up to where I'm at right now. I've talked about my first 2 operations, and we're going to talk about my 3rd operation on this video. My 3rd operation was a LITT procedure, which was a laser interstitial thermal treatment. That's what it stands for, LITT. I kind of talked a little bit about it in my last video, but it's a laser guided, it's a laser procedure that's guided with an intraoperative MRI, and it was done at UT Southwestern by Dr. Bradley Lega. My insurance company denied paying for it, so I had to pay for it out of pocket. If y'all are interested in helping us with medical bills and things like that, I'll have a link in my bio that has my link tree that has a Venmo and a GoFundMe, and down in my description of my YouTube channel I'll have the same link tree thing, so if you want to help, you're more than welcome to. But we've dished out thousands of dollars already, and we still owe about $35,000 in medical bills, so if y'all want to help, you're more than welcome to. But back to my story. So my 3rd procedure, we go down there, kind of like the last time, go down, check into the hotel, have to do pre-op stuff. So we do all of our pre-op stuff, have to do another MRI so that they can get the mapping done, so that they know exactly where they're going to go, that kind of thing. So we get all the pre-surgery stuff done, going for surgery the next day. I'd already talked to Dr. Lega. We had discussed that, I'm a self-pay patient, so we had discussed maybe before surgery of getting me to go home as soon as possible, so that we don't rack up a whole bunch of medical bills. So have my procedure done. I'm in recovery room. They don't have an ICU bed for me because they're booked. So I'm in the recovery room for 2-3 hours. And the chief resident comes to see me, and we talk about going upstairs to a regular room. And basically what we talked about is he called Dr. Lega, and they let me go home straight from recovery room. So basically I had a craniotomy. They opened my head up, had a craniotomy, and it was a day surgery procedure, which is unheard of. You don't have day surgery craniotomies. You spend at least one night over in the hospital, specifically in ICU. So they kept me in recovery room, which is a higher end treatment deal, for 4 hours, and then let me go home, which going home was to the hotel. And we stayed in the hotel overnight and then came home the next day. So I literally had a day surgery craniotomy, which is, like I said, unheard of and crazy in and of itself. So we come home, and I struggle pretty hard because I've just had my 3rd craniotomy in 6 months. So every 2 months I've had a craniotomy done on me. So I struggle really hard with my 3rd surgery as far as recovery is concerned. I don't bounce back as fast as I did on the other 2. Struggling pretty hard. At the same time, they start me back on chemotherapy, 2 different kinds of chemotherapy. One is called Avastin, which is an angiogenesis inhibitor. It prevents blood vessels from being formed. That's one of the ones they started me on. The other one's Timidor, which is the standard treatment for GBMs. The Timidor is the same chemotherapy I was on the first time I did chemo, except that this time it's double the dose of the first time. The Avastin is a new kind of chemotherapy that they're trying to prevent the blood vessels from forming into the tumor itself, which is, makes sense. If you don't have blood flowing to the tumor, it doesn't grow. So we do all that, and at the same time they're trying to take me down off my steroids. So all this going on together, this is the end of August, 1st September when we start this. They start my chemotherapy. I go through 2 rounds of the Avastin chemotherapy. They do it every 2 weeks, and every 3rd week they do a triple dose or a double dose of the Timidor. So I'm going through a bunch of chemotherapy on top of trying to recover from the surgery all at the same time. So I'm not doing so hot. By the time October rolls around, I'm doing really, really bad. And at the end of October, I'm basically in a wheelchair. I'm doing really, really bad. We attributed that to the Avastin because that's the newest deal. The Avastin, having reaction to the Avastin seems to be the most logical deal. So I go in to see my radiation oncologist the end of October. This is like October 25th. And we're going to get another MRI because it's time to get one. I get another MRI, go in to see my radiation oncologist to get the results, and it's bad. It looks like I've had another regrowth. It lit up like it wasn't supposed to, and this is from my radiation oncologist. So when I go in, I'm basically I'm in a wheelchair. I can't walk anymore without assistance. I can use a cane, but I can't walk very well. I have a hard time standing up just from a sitting position. So I'm in a wheelchair. I have a motorized wheelchair that I'm using to get around in and be in. At the same time all this is going on, I start getting these random abscesses. I got one in my armpit, one on my hand, one on my finger, one on my head, and then I wound up getting one on my groin also. So I wound up having to go to a wound care specialist on top of all this, trying to heal from the abscesses, trying to heal from my surgery, and having double doses of chemo on top of everything else, and I'm wheelchair bound, taking me off of steroids. So there's a lot going on all at the same time. And so when I go to my radiation oncologist, his suggestion is to put me on hospice because he thinks that we're done. Because I have had another regrowth. I can't have another surgery. Dr. Lega, I can't afford to do another LITT procedure because I don't have another 50 grand to dish out. And obviously Dr. Lega is not going to do an open procedure on me again. He just doesn't want to because he thinks he'll paralyze me if he does. So the only option I have is LITT procedures from here on out, and my insurance company will not pay for it. So I'm doing a lot. I'm going to have to do that out of pocket if I have another LITT procedure done. So that's kind of out of the question. So we're at a point where we're going to have to go to hospice and basically stop all treatment. So when there's stages here. So when you go to hospice, in order to be on hospice care, you have to stop all treatments that you're doing for end-of-life care. So I have to stop all chemotherapy. I was doing the Optune device, which is a device that goes on your head, and I'll show you more of that later because I'm actually back on the Optune device, thank God. So I had to stop the Optune device, had to stop all chemotherapy, had to stop all advanced treatment options. So there's no advanced treatment options when you start to go on hospice. You're basically on end-of-life care when you go to hospice. So it took a while for hospice to get back with me, almost 10 days. And during that time, we had actually gone back up on my steroids and had taken me off of all of the Avastin and off all of the chemotherapy that I was on. So 10 days to 2 weeks later, I was actually back to walking again, back out of a wheelchair, was doing better, felt better, was actually walking around. Still had to use a cane, but I could actually walk around. At that point in time, when we decided to go on hospice, we didn't think I was going to make it to Thanksgiving. And this was, right around Halloween. So, I mean, we're talking a couple of weeks till Thanksgiving. We didn't think I was going to make it. And by the time Thanksgiving rolled around, I was walking around without a cane and without assistance. So taking me off all of the chemotherapy, going back up on my steroids, got me back to where I needed to be as far as being able to get up and around and be active again. So continuing with that, I'm actually doing very much better now. We made it through the holidays, made it through Christmas. I'm back on the Optune device, so I'm actually back to being able. I went from going to hospice to we switched over to what's called palliative care. In palliative care, you can still do treatments, you can still have procedures done, you can still do advanced treatments if you need to. So I can go back on using the Optune device and things like that. But I have the palliative care team on board if I need to switch back over to having end-of-life care stuff done. So So they're on board already. I can still use them for, making appointments, that kind of thing, but I can also still do advanced care treatments. So that's where I'm at now. I'm on palliative care treatments, so I can do that. And I'm also back in touch with my radiation oncologist, back in with him, doing the Optune device. Like I said, I'll do a whole video just on the Optune device. It's kind of a cool thing in and of itself. It's the only thing that's approved, FDA approved, the only device that's FDA approved to treat GBM cancers. And it's kind of cool because my radiation oncologist is one of the guys that did the studies when that first came out with it. So I got a guy that's been doing it for years and has been using it for years on his patients, and he's had very good effectiveness with it. So I'm lucky in that aspect of it. So we're now middle of January, towards the end of January now. It's like the end of January when I'm making this video of 2023. And I did not think in March of last year, 2022, that I would still be alive at this stage. I mean, we're talking 9 months to a year from a stage 4 GBM the size of mine, and that's what it should be. I mean, I should not live more than a year, and it looks like I'm on track to do longer than that, which is a miracle in and of itself, especially with the GBM, especially with my GBM. So I'm going to keep doing this, keep making videos, keep putting out a positive message until I can't anymore, and I'll keep everybody updated on how things are going. If you don't follow me on TikTok or on Instagram, please go over there and do it. On TikTok, I'm Celtic_redneck, or you can search my name, Kenny Verdon. On Instagram, I'm at KT Verdon. I'm also on Facebook, Kenny Verdon. You can hit me up on any of those platforms. I'm also on Clapper. You can also do that. And also here on YouTube, just go and hit subscribe and like and hit the little bell, and you'll get updated when I put up new videos. I've got a whole series on my YouTube channel called Walking and Talking. Check that out. It's a lot of positive stuff, and I'm fixing to do a podcast series that I'll put up on YouTube also. It's going to be ramblings with the terminal cancer patient, which is going to talk a lot more about this kind of stuff, about what you deal with as far as cancer is concerned and what you deal with terminal cancer. So stick around. Like I said, hit subscribe. Stick around on my YouTube channel, and you'll have a lot more videos, a lot more information coming your way. Thank you very much for watching.